Video games are meant to be one thing. Fun. Fun for everyone. I'm willing to bet that you have at least played something on the Wii. It's a fair guess given that that thing was a phenom throughout the late 2000s and sold over 100 million units. Whether you merely swapped spit with games like Mario Kart Wii or Wii Sports, or dove deeply into the system's catalog, you probably have some fond memories with what the Wii was able to provide. I myself fall under the latter, playing a game like Wii Party or Wii Sports for hours on end, or the rabbit hole that's Animal Crossing New Leaf. I have plenty of memories of playing Nintendo's games as a kid. My point is, I have a strong nostalgic collection with Nintendo, and more to the point, an appreciation for the man that helmed the company through my childhood. That man is former Nintendo president and CEO, the late, great Satoru Iwata. When former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé spoke about Iwata during the Game Awards in 2015, he said the single word that best described Iwata was unique. I don't want to format this video in a biography sort of way. No, I want to zero in on what makes him unique. And we don't have to go far to find the answer to that. In fact, the answer lies in his most iconic quote.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer, but in my heart, I am a gamer.
We're gonna break this quote down and celebrate Satoru Iwata's unique life within the video game industry in the process.
Please take a look. On my business card, I am a corporate president.
Iwata served as Nintendo's fourth president from May 24, 2002 to his death on July 11, 2015. He succeeded longtime president Hiroshi Yamauchi, who held that position since 1949. Iwata had previously served as the president of HAL Laboratory by Yamauchi's request in 1993 during a time where HAL was struggling with a debt of 1.5 million yen and about to go bankrupt. Iwata didn't have any experience in management whatsoever, but he took that opportunity to better himself, reading books on management and asking for advice from the people around him. With all that and the help provided by Nintendo, Iwata helped eradicate the debt and manage the finances at HAL. Iwata was later designated as the head of Nintendo's corporate planning division and put on the board of directors in 2000. His main goal under this role was to cheapen and quicken the process of game development, while still resulting in a quality product. When Iwata assumed his role as Nintendo's president in 2002, he met personally with the heads of each of Nintendo's 40 departments, and around 150 other employees. He was open to building a rapport with them because he knew that the people under him wouldn't always agree with him. But regardless, he wanted to let them explore their own ideas and take their own risks if they felt that that was right. This kind of communication is something that was vastly different from Yamauchi, who would really only speak to his employees in an annual speech he gave. What's more, Yamauchi made many of his decisions backed by his intuition and experience, whereas Iwata brought data and science to the table and used that to convince people and make business decisions. The most prominent of these decisions was in the early to mid 2000s, where he saw that gaming was reaching a point where the commitment to core gamers led games to, quote, come to a dead end. His solution was to implement what's known as a blue ocean strategy. It essentially boils down to investing into a completely untapped market instead of an already established one. The brand new market Nintendo would push for would be casual gamers. This move resulted in the DS and the Wii. Both of these systems weren't conventional gaming systems by any means, but these weren't for the conventional gamer. Part of this reach to the casual market included the Touch Generations line, games designated by Nintendo as casual experiences that people with little to no gaming experience could pick up and play. Games under this line included Nintendogs, Big Brain Academy, Clubhouse Games, and the Brain Age series. These games helped ease millions of people into gaming. This, on top of other things that the DS offered, equaled a handheld that everyone couldn't get enough of, selling over 154 million units. Oh yeah, and there was the Wii in 2006. In case anyone forgot, it bundled with Wii Sports, one of the most popular games ever released that helped define a generation. Everybody played Wii Sports. It found its way inside the hearts of millions, many of which probably would have never played games otherwise. That game defined what the Wii was for many people, and it continued to deliver with other games in the Wii series, like Wii Sports Resort, Play, fit and party. And even outside of that, Nintendo was putting out experiences that would be shared by millions, including but not limited to New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Kart Wii, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Iwata's Blue Ocean strategy led to Nintendo introducing millions of people into the world of gaming in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere, something that their competitors weren't able to provide nor would ever be able to mimic. Nintendo's success under Iwata can be attributed to Iwata's willingness to work alongside his employees. Carrying the title of an executive producer, he always was willing to check up on how projects were going, provide insight, and say or do whatever he could to help the development process move along. It was always about maximizing the potential of a game and making it the best it could be. So with the aforementioned Wii phenomena, there was also the Metroid Prime trilogy, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. These were games that were met with widespread acclaim and stand the test of time as all-time classics. All this good stuff being said, not everything was peachy under Iwata's presidency. Namely, the Wii U and 3DS era was a rough one for Nintendo. In the early to mid 2010s, mistakes were made, and even though the 3DS did well, the Wii U was a commercial failure. Seeing the bad situation around him, Iwata made the executive decision to cut executive salaries by 20 to 30% and his own salary by 50%. These pay cuts were done as an atonement for the failure that Iwata saw as his responsibility. It shows a display of accountability that you just don't see every day. Iwata didn't just see the bottom line. As president, he respected his employees, the product, and the consumers. That much is clear with his influence on the company during his 13-year run as Nintendo's president.
In my mind, I am a game developer.
For Iwata to have the impact and influence he did as president, he needed to have the experience to back that up. Lo and behold, what he had to show for his knowledge was his hand in numerous iconic games through his programming talent. He had begun his way with the craft in 1978 at the age of 18 with his first computer, a Commodore PET. Consider that the late 1970s was a time when making video games was relatively a very new thing, meaning that Iwata was able to grow and learn as the process of making video games evolved going forward. A big part of all this was just that Iwata wanted to show people what games he was making. It started with him just making electronic games on a calculator and showing them off to his classmates in high school. This transitioned to him majoring in computer science at the Tokyo Institute of Technology. While a student there, his programming talent was recognized by his professors and the friends and peers he would showcase his games to. He joined HAL Laboratory part-time in 1980 and then full-time in 1982 after graduating college. As a professional programmer, and the only one at HAL when you started, Iwata helped legitimize HAL in their work. He's credited with several games and became known as a guy that could come in and solve many problems with his talents. A prime example of this is with Earthbound. The game was so deep in development hell that the development team even wondered if they would be able to finish it at all. But Iwata came in, and with his help, the team started the game from scratch and had it released within a year's time. His leadership was seen as remarkable by the Earthbound team and director/producer Shigesato Itoi. The finished product became a cult classic at first, but ultimately recognized as one of the greatest RPGs ever made and a staple of the genre. Speaking of genre-defining games, back at HAL, Iwata also helped in several of the early Kirby games, a series boasting a formula of simple gameplay and a lovable character that would be adored by countless fans. With Kirby, he worked with fellow HAL employee Masahiro Sakurai, and the two of them were assigned to work on a fighting game for the Nintendo 64 that you may or may not have heard about before. Iwata was a producer for Super Smash Bros., a game that was groundbreaking and innovative at the time and has since grown into a massive crossover fighting game series that's celebrated passionately to this day. Whatever the kind of game, whatever the work that needed to be done, Iwata proved time and time again that he had the talent and earnestness to go in and get that job done for the sake of a good game. Do all of this. Become a video game executive that breaks open the casual gaming market. To be a programmer with a proficiency that the people around him can only describe as genius. All of that's tied together with Iwata's love for video games.
But in my heart, I am a gamer.
He was about appreciating them on a deeper level. He hosted his own interview series called Iwata Asks, in which he would talk to the development teams of Nintendo's various releases over the years, with the goal to understand video games and the people behind them. The dialogues he conducted are still available online, and reading them, it's incredible to see how they provide perspective that you can't get anywhere else, with both the teams being interviewed and Iwata himself having interesting things to say, and the two parties bouncing off each other in a way that shows what makes gaming so awesome. Iwata wanted people to feel that way about gaming. Traces of that sentiment are evident in his public persona. It's like he didn't even want to be seen as a president, but just a guy that really loved video games. He never came off as someone that was above the people he was selling to. He had a style that blended humor with humility and bravado that made him stand out. For example, when he was talking about playing Smash with Reggie and he had this to say,
I kicked some you know what. As Nintendo president, I'm also all about asking questions. So Reggie, I have a question for you. Who's your daddy?
He had absolutely no reason or purpose for saying that, but it was hilarious regardless. He had jokes, but he also knew when to grab people's attention.
And now you say, you want a revolution? Well, we've got one.
It's almost as though he always knew what to say and when to say it. It felt like that he was a gamer among gamers. That spirit Iwata carried was prevalent in an initiative that he spearheaded, the Nintendo Direct. Starting in 2011, Iwata would host international digital broadcasts that served to show Nintendo fans what the company was working on. This is a common practice today, not just for Nintendo but other companies. But the magic that Iwata's Directs had is something only he can lay claim to. His Directs didn't just feel like rundowns of what games were coming out. They felt like a show and tell with a host that was proud to show these games off, reminiscent of the young man that was eager to show his games off to the people around him. Put everything I just talked about together. You have a man that was a revered leader as president, a respected mind as a game developer, all with the heart of a gamer that endeared him to so many. Though he passed away in 2015, his lifelong commitment to the gaming industry lives on. Everything about Iwata revolved around embracing how cool and fun video games are. Gaming will continue to grow and evolve, not just as an industry, but as an art form. And in an era where games have the ability to be more versatile experiences than ever before, to look at video games with the same love and passion as Iwata had isn't that hard. Looking at his story, it's a story of a man that was unique. The kind of person he was and things he did is something that very few, if anybody, could also be. His uniqueness and the impact that he was able to leave behind is one that will never be forgotten.
That's it. Thank you for watching.